one podcast, mining the Magic the Gathering community for salt. This is the Howling Salt Mine. It's the Howling Salt Mine. The Howling Salt Mine. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Howling Salt Mine podcast, the podcast where we delve into those salty, salty mines of the Magic the Gathering community, find the saltiest stories, those salty posts that we love to read, put them in our minecart, and bring them right back up to you, our dear prospectors at home. As always, I'm your host, Sam, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Mike and Tony. Say hey, guys.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, indeed. Guys, it's a little cramped in the minecart today. You know what I mean?
Yep, it is. This four-seater is packed.
Tony, I think you might have to sit on Papa's lap over here just to really make enough space.
You say I'm the bad one.
I was going to make a Baldur's Gate reference, but I didn't want to upset Sam too much.
As you could hear, we have some guests in the mine. And actually, we have our first returning guest on the show, which is pretty fucking crazy. You know them from their amazing YouTube channel and all the awesome content that they're putting out. The Scrybabies themselves, Lua Stardust and Tori of the Vast. What's going on?
Woo! Wow!
You know, honestly, Sam, I'm just proud that you actually know their content this time.
Dude, don't fucking do me like that, man.
Let's get you right on blast.
Oh, when did that happen?
So that happened when you shamed us into realizing we needed to up our production
Yeah,
standards.
who fucking knows that? It's being
Oh,
sarcastic.
she knows, Mike. That's New Jersey sarcasm right there, bro. But
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, every guest since then has been much happier about both the intro as well as the overall process. So thank you for pioneering that.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say about Tori.
Yeah, so Tori, how was your parking ticket on the way to the Howling Salt Mine today?
It was good. I hope that someone gives me $26 to pay it on Patreon this week.
So welcome to the Salt Mine, and Lua, welcome back again, our first returning guest, which is pretty wild. Lua, I frequently talk about your episode as like a turning point in the quality of our show because I did fuck up your intro so horribly, and then during the outro you were like, why don't you guys like plug your social media and like talk to people about how they should subscribe on Spotify and shit? And we were like, yeah, that's a good idea. We should be doing that.
So if you don't like that now, there's like 5 minutes of stuff before you can get to the bloopers at the end of the episode. You can thank Lua.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, sweet. Let's just fucking dive into it. So whenever we have a guest on, we like to grill them, basically. We have a pretty grueling exam of sorts that we do at the start of this. And you know, like we usually say, if you do fuck it up, we will just cut the audio, and the episode will be done. So
Yeah.
But the patrons will know.
the pressure's high.
Yeah, really high stakes.
Lua has already passed. Lua, again, if you guys want to check out episode 22 of our show, you can hear Lua and all of Lua's answers to this. So, Tori, today you are in the hot seat of the minecart.
Oh boy,
You ready?
I'm so ready.
So, Tori, the first question that we like to ask people is, how did you get into Magic?
Wow, you really put me in the hot seat. One of my boyfriends got me into Magic, and Mook Dubs actually brought precons to our house.
Oh, yeah. Mook Dubs, friend of the show.
Yeah, and they taught me how to play Magic. So
Did he make you eat a spicy pepper while you were learning to play?
unfortunately not. This was before the time.
That
This was
behavior came later.
Before we were content creators.
Wow.
So I played the Reap the Tides precon, and that's how I started playing.
So you started with Commander?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
I think Commander's a horrible way to learn Magic. It's awesome, but like, I just found out literally yesterday that I was fucking up stuff in my damage phase of combat because I learned it incorrectly. I never really like ran into the problem before because of playing Commander, so I didn't realize I was like sequencing incorrectly.
What was the mess up?
I thought that if someone declares blockers, you have a chance to respond to the block at instant speed to like remove a blocker, and then your creature can get through because the blocker is no longer like a target because it's gone.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that the block was already like no, it's like still blocked.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that, which is why I've been
rough.
playing things incorrectly. So I was like, wow, if I had known that, I would attack with my ornithopter more with a hammer on it.
Get in for that 0 damage consistently.
Well, yeah, because they're like, oh no, they can't declare blocks, and that's when the flash and the hammer after. And I was like, but that makes sense, and I'm stupid. And yeah,
You're not stupid.
I'm not stupid, but my boyfriend was basically like, yeah, you probably don't run into like stuff like that as often with Commander. And I was like, no.
Mhm.
And I also forget about the legendary rule a lot because you don't play multiple cards in Commander.
Yeah.
So over the weekend on my first ever Pioneer event, streamed live coverage, I tried to resolve 2 Sheoldreds.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Oh no.
Can't do that.
Nice. Then everyone loses 4 life when they draw a card.
They were at 4 life, so I was like, wow, I win the game.
Yeah,
And then they're
fucking
like, yeah, you
gotcha.
lose both. Or you lose one. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's the thing. I'm a dummy.
Just refreshing that Sheoldred, you know, you need a real crispy Sheoldred.
I was just testing him. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, do you know this rule? No? You do know the rule. Okay. Tee haha. Let's take that back. But yeah, I learned how to play Commander first.
Interesting.
And I think it was fun because precons are fun, but like
Mhm.
Yeah.
now I think about it and how many mechanics and cards and like stuff there is and rules, I'm like, this is so much.
Yeah, there's a ton.
It's an interesting point too, because like I bet you encounter a lot of those weird rules kind of early on, but then one player at the table is like, oh, it goes like this. And you're like, cool,
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that like attacking thing is one of the most unintuitive things when you're learning Magic, period. You're like, but your blocker's gone. It's like, no, it's still blocked. I'm like, no, it's actually not because your blocker's gone.
That's what I mean. I was like, to me on paper, it makes sense. There's no more target. It's gone. So why wouldn't my damage go through on the damage phase? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, well, I've been playing wrong for 3 years. So that's okay. No one needs to know. But I was just like, how many times have I done this in a game and been like, I am so smart. I got them.
There's also like, I don't know. I think there's times where I'll play with like some real Magic boomers and they won't be right on how a card works or how a step goes. And then I'll be like, no, it's this. And they're like, oh. So I think we have like the advantage of being smarter in the sense of not being a boomer, you know?
There's space on both sides because like if you know the really old rules and someone taps and like leaves some mana in their pool, you're like, haha, you get mana burned. And people have to be like, no.
It's kind of, to me, it's like I still have the advantage of saying like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a new player. Like I am. I think playing, especially competitive Magic, I feel like playing competitive Magic for only a year. Like I can still be like, sorry, I'm new. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the same thing as if when you're working at a job and you make a mistake. Like, you know, if you worked at a job for like 3 years, you still be like, I'm so sorry, I'm brand new. And then like the customer's like, it's okay. Like you're doing great. And you've been working there for like 30 years. Then it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
If you're still only working there for a little bit and you pull the I'm new card, everyone's like, oh, you're fine.
I definitely use that today. Even I'll be like, yeah, you know, I wasn't really here when any of that happened, so like, I'm not quite sure. Like, it's like, so you've been there 2 years now. I think you know what's going on. I'm like, do I? Like,
or
I'm not sure.
I've never worked on this part of it is good too. Like, because you can break that up. Oh, I've never actually played a sacrifice deck, so I don't really know all of those mechanics.
I know, and it's just like, I guess like you said, it's like advantage of being like not a boomer and playing is just don't sound like as silly being like, oh, I've been doing this wrong this entire time.
Yeah.
At least you weren't putting like damage on the stack or something fucking buck wild like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes those people get me though, because they'll be like, no, tokens don't hit the graveyard. I'm like,
they do now.
Maybe they don't. Like, am I wrong?
That's what I mean. I'm like, there's stuff where I'm like, well, technically they should hit the graveyard because they die. And if you die and you go to a graveyard, you get buried there. Like it's on paper, it made sense. That's why to me, I was like, well, your blocker's gone. So now on the damage step.
My sneaky ultimate move.
I know. I was like, this is the foolproof plan.
That's also the worst when you encounter those things when it's like built up to this moment. And you're like, yeah, my fucking trap card right now, Yu-Gi-Oh style. And they're like, nah, it doesn't work. You're like, cool. Well, I guess I'll die then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened this past weekend. Was just like they're gonna put you on the feature match, and I was like, awesome. Everyone gets to watch me play Pioneer for the first time ever on camera. And they were like, we'll put you at the end. That way, the other 2 matches will go first. And if it goes into time, like, then we'll put you on. And I was like, okay, cool. And everyone was still playing next to me. So I was like, oh, awesome. Like, they're not going to show this. And as soon as the game was over, I went and picked up my phone and somebody tweeted like, oh my God, Tori the Vast is on a feature match. And it was like, oh my God, I just went to the feature match and she like died. And I was like, please tell me it wasn't the Sheoldred. They're like, yeah, they literally like cut to you like trying to resolve a second Sheoldred. And I was like, awesome, awesome. So it was like the big dumb play that I made is just like, I have to go find it and I want to edit it into a short with like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music playing. If we
oh, hell yeah.
Like, yeah. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to win the game next turn. He's going to draw a card, lose for life. Nope.
So after you started with Commander, like how soon did you get into competitive 2-player formats? Because clearly that's like something that you're passionate about now.
Let's see. Probably about like a year and a couple months later, I started playing in February of 2022. Yes, February 2022.
And what do you typically play?
I play a lot of Modern.
Yeah, I heard you mention Hammer.
Yeah, my first, like, I don't know what to call it, constructed gameplay, 2-player gameplay was Pauper. I went to an F&M at Pauper night and I played Pauper and I loved it. Felt really fun, felt really different, and I loved the cards that you played. I love commons, they're so silly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I kind of want to play more of this. I want to play more of this like 1v1 format. It's very cool to have one target to kill, which is like easier because I'm terrible at politicking. And then my friends were like, oh, you should play Modern. It's like really fun format. There's a lot of power. It's kind of quick. So like if you like winning quickly or like losing quickly or like being done in 50 minutes, like it's a good format to play. So my friend proxied up Burn and was like, I think this is a great entry level deck into Modern. I feel like it's like everyone's like starter deck. It's like baby steps. It's like getting your first bike with like the training wheels on, like the red ones. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone gets those.
Oh yeah.
So that's like the Burn deck. And then I decided to jump into a Modern 10K.
Damn.
After never playing before.
That's wild.
Wait, what's a Modern 10K? I'm useless in
I envisioned a bunch of neckbeards running a 10K,
yeah.
And then like I was like, it can't be that.
It's a really long marathon where you run in basketball shorts and flip flops, and
no Crocs.
Yeah, it was a Modern tournament. It was a $10,000 cash prize Modern tournament.
Wow, shit!
And I knew I was gonna lose, but I was like, I have really bad like crowd anxiety. So I was like, I don't want to go to F&M because I'm scared. But if I go to like the scariest thing, then F&M should be a little bit easier.
Fair.
So I went to the SEG Philly Modern 10K and then I O2'd.
Oh, I was going to ask, how did you feel when you won $10,000?
Oh, well, you see, I paid for all my parking tickets with that prize pool. I quickly O2'd. I played horrible because again I had no idea how to like sequence right. I was like playing instants on my main phase. Ew.
Nice.
Just awful gameplay. I lost to like Spike Feeder combo, which was like the worst matchup for Burn ever. And then I played against like a mill deck, and again like I think back to that because I'm like, oh, if I knew what I knew now, it would have been so good. But yeah, I loved it. Even though I lost, I was like fucking crazy. Yeah, and then that began the path I'm on now to try to get good.
That's awesome.
It's very hard.
Like, so we didn't really talk about this when Lua was on previously, but like, when did you two meet and decide to start pulling Scrybabies together? Like, where is that in your Magic the Gathering journey?
I think we were friends for like a year before Scrybabies, right?
We met because we became Twitter mutuals.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, Lua Stardust wants to be friends with me. Because I was like, she's really cool. And then we started talking and we were like both from New Jersey. So we became friends. And then Lua was like, hey, do you want to go see Curtis Connor in New Brunswick at Rutgers and get ramen? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. So we decided to meet up and go do that.
Hell yeah. I love Curtis Connor.
And then we hung out and we were like, wow, it feels like we've been friends forever. And then after the show was over, Lua was like, I'm going to go take the train home soon. And I was like, I'll just drive you home because I'm staying at my dad's at Edison tonight, which is like close by here. So I was like, I'll drive you home to your grandparents or whatever you're staying for the day. She was like, okay, it's on this road. And it was like 2 minutes behind my dad's house.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, whoa, we grew up right next to each other the whole time.
Tony's from Jersey too, so Tony's thriving right now.
I honestly am. I'm loving every bit of this.
Yeah. When I started playing Magic, I just immediately was like, I want to know who the influencers are. Not in like a weird way, just like I wanted to watch people play Magic. And when I looked at TikTok, Tori was one of the first people that came up. And then I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot in like a not weird way. And I was like, I'm from Jersey too.
I love that you're saying that's not a weird way, because you already know where she lives at that point.
I know, right? I'm setting the scene now. So so we were friends for a bit, and then we had always said if we ever wanted to do content like a show like this, it would be with each other, just because I think we match each other's energy well, and I think that we have a same kind of understanding of like what we want. And last year, about a year ago actually, we were talking about it a lot, and we finally were just like, let's just do the thing. That was like last August into September, and then September we like pre-launched Scrybabies. The first episode dropped in January. We first shot in December. So it was like very, very quickly we had to make the show happen. And we're, one of a very few small number of women who do Magic content online, on YouTube at least, and also like a smaller demographic of women who do gameplay online, which is something that we wanted to be, represented very well. And I think we do a really good job of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
That's right.
We're so girly and feminine.
We are girly pop Jersey girls. We don't burp. I
don't shit my pants.
We don't curse on set like sailors. Yeah.
I also don't shit my pants every day. Yeah. Am I a girly girl?
Well.
So the second question that we like to ask people is, Tori, what gets you salty?
I get salty when I misplay and I do something very obviously stupid that I realize like a second later.
Yeah, I feel that.
I get salty with myself. I never salt off like, oh, you're so lucky you drew your one out against me. Like, well, I can't believe it. Or like, oh, of course you have this card. But like when I'm like, I'm going to play a Sheoldred number 2, and then it's like, no, you're not. Then I'm like, I am going to think about this for the next year every night. Like that's where I get salty. It's why I like if I misplay, I'm just like,
someone else plays a Sheoldred and you have like PTSD. It's like the Kill Bill sirens are just going off.
Yeah, I'm gonna like go look into the fucking mirror tonight to brush my teeth, and it's gonna be Sheoldred, but it's gonna be like Spider-Man, like coward.
Coward. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Oh, so good. You should make a Timna Sakashima deck with the entire point of making 2 Sheoldreds.
I kind of love it. You have to. That sounds great.
Yeah.
And just look in the camera and be like, see, I can finally do it.
I'm going to find a deck that combos with Helm of the Host and Sheoldred, and then no one can stop me.
Honestly, I'm sure that exists. That's like a pretty nasty combo.
Yeah. I'm going to make that the next Pioneer deck. What's worse than 1 Sheoldred? 6.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That'll show them. I'll have my revenge.
Yep. And then be like, hey, could I be the feature match this time, actually?
Yeah, like this time I want to be the feature match. I've practiced. I've rehearsed the lines. But yeah, that's what makes me salty is punting an obvious game. Just making the stupidest play of my life and then looking at it happen in real time and being like, oh my God, no. And then I just get like, I don't do that thing where I'm like, I would have won if it wasn't for your meddling kids. But I'm just like, this would have played out so much differently if I just thought before I went like, yeah.
For sure.
I feel like we hear that a lot from like people that lean towards the more competitive side of Magic. Like that part speaks to them. That's always where it's like, okay, so then if I do something wrong, that's really what gets me.
Yeah, it's like the other day I texted my friend and I was like, I'm playing Pioneer for the first time. I'm on a borrowed deck. So let's see how that goes. And he was like, just make the plays your opponents don't want you to.
Tony plays Commander that way. And I don't know that that's right. But in 1v1, that seems good.
Tony plays cEDH that way.
I was like, that is good advice. I don't know. Everyone's always like, you have to pretend that like they have it. Like, always prepare and like assume that they have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they don't have it. They don't. And then they have it.
I fall into that category a lot of they don't have it, and then Mike always fucking has it.
Yeah.
It's a problem. But well, should we get on into the mine now?
Let's fucking delve in. We got some salty stories queued up. Let's hop in. Let's squeeze into this cart and go down the mine shaft. The metaphor is thin.
It's falling apart.
Going down the shaft.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Talking about shafts.
The number of times that meme with the lizard like laughing is used in our Discord is unacceptable. Exactly these types of things.
That's one of my favorite gifs ever of the lizard just being like.
It does seem like something you would enjoy.
I feel like that lizard all day. Like every single time I make a little joke, I'm like,
he looks just like you. I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be a little
Just
lizard.
needs a mullet and then he's going.
yeah, he just needs a little mullet. I trim my mullet. Tony, I'm wedding ready with my mullet now.
I love that.
It's gonna be great. I tried my suit on today.
Yeah, till death do us party.
I can't wait to smash 2 light beers over my head after you say I do.
Oh
Turns
man.
out, God, why'd I agree to this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds at the wedding.
Why'd I agree to ever be this guy's friend? No, it's all love. But yeah, let's fucking get into it. So we're going to be talking about salt today. As the folks at home know, we got 3 lovely salty stories.
But Sam,
Ooh.
what's salt?
Hey, thanks, Tony. Thank you for asking.
What am I here for?
I don't think I've said this in a while, but I appreciate you,
I
dude.
bet you haven't. I don't know if I asked in the last
You
episode.
said that like last episode.
Did we? But
I don't
I'm
know.
always like, did he actually do it last time? Anyway, sorry.
I usually forget when
Define
you
it.
chastise me, but salt is frustration in the game, as we like to say. Salt really is kind of an umbrella term. It encompasses so many things, from people whipping cards across the room in frustration to just like a slight misplay and maybe just get a little quiet, get a little subdued. Maybe
Or the fucking parking tickets when you've been in somewhere for 15 minutes. Because I actually got one earlier this week, and like, fuck, like you have nothing better to do with your life than give me a fucking parking ticket right now. Are you kidding me? Because my license plate's expired. Okay, whatever. Fucking
Wait, that
Ann
sounds
Arbor.
like an actual issue.
This is bullshit. It doesn't
a
even
crime,
fucking
Tony.
matter. It literally doesn't matter. I was
Oh,
so
man.
mad.
But
Anyway.
just because I knocked over this fire hydrant, you're gonna give me a ticket? What's the big idea here?
that house is barely burning. Come on. Salt is also when you forget about the legend rule, as we've learned from our friend Tori here, and you try to cast a second Sheoldred. And we talk about salt so that we can learn from it and hopefully in the future not be salty ourselves. It hasn't happened yet, but one of these days.
Someday.
Your body contains salt.
We are salt.
It's a natural part of the process.
Yeah, it's a necessary nutrient. You need it.
Yeah, exactly. Just in safe doses.
Yeah.
Not me Googling how much of your body is salt. 0.4% of the body's weight.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, that's baseline.
I think Sam's running at like 6 or 7%. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
40
definitely.
teaspoons.
40
I need to get off of
teaspoons?
Google.
Jeez.
Yeah. This is what happens if you ask like a not a real question. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
that is literally my wife. Anytime we talk about something, she like pulls up the Wikipedia and then she just starts reading it to me. It's great. I learned so many little facts. I love it a lot, actually.
I'm incredibly excited about this though, because now I can say that people are definitely you're starting to verge on your like 40-second teaspoon here. You're getting a little bit up there.
Yeah, your sodium levels are a little high.
Just a bit. Well, shall we dive into it, folks?
Let's do one.
Fucking do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So our first salty story comes to us from our Patreon, and it comes to us from our buddy Bobo Fett. Thank you for supporting us, Bobo. And this post is titled Mathematic Gymnastics and Summer Salts.
Summer salts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking good. I didn't even get it.
oh my God. You're reading it, dude.
Yeah, but I'm also like not the smartest guy in the room, you know?
I do.
You don't have to agree with me. And the story goes, the setting is summertime at Magic Fest. The power level. The convention had 3 levels: casual, intermediate, and competitive. We were labeled as on-demand intermediate. Already pretty sus. The pod makeup in turn order was a Timna Thrasios deck,
Oh,
OG Titania, Dragon, and Tivit, Record scratch. Yep, that's me. I'm running the Precon mana base, but I've upgraded the deck. It has the Time Sieve combo. Titania acknowledges this, but Thrasios looks confused. I explain exactly how it works and that I can tutor it. Seems fine to everyone. The first couple of turns go by, and there are some noticeable events. On turn 3, I cast a Soul Ring, which Titania blows up as soon as they have priority. Dragon has 6 dragons by turn 4, swings at me for 26 damage on turn 5. I'm at 12 life now. Dragon has no resistance from the table. I have Tivit, Oswald Fiddlebender to tutor Civ, and only a Swords to Plowshares in hand, plus 6 flyers in the way of my commander. Maybe I can Swords 1 to hang on? By turn 5, I draw Isochron Scepter. I cast it, imprint Swords, tutor Time Sieve to play, and attack the 2 open players. I explain the Time Sieve combo again, adding that I will sword a dragon each turn, building commander damage to 18 until the Dragon is open, then swing at him with the remaining artifacts on the field I can win. I did win, and it was one of the most hard-fought wins I've had. Top deck Magic Gods smiled upon me. Every piece mattered mathematically. Then the Thrasios talks to the Tymna player and says, that was too fast, right? Isn't this like part of the rules for the power level? I asked if they wanted to play again, and if I swap my deck out. Not a single good game or another word came out of them. They all move away. Even the Dragon seemed salty about it. Their salt made me salty. Would it have been that much better if Dragon won on turn 7? Was it the taboo of a near infinite combo I brought up and then used? I thought I would test out how powerful my deck was, and 3 guys needed a 4th for cEDH, so I joined. Got my ass handed to me, but an exceptionally low salt and much enjoyable game, to say the least.
I feel like it's just the boogeyman of an infinite combo, right? It's like if you're presenting that in general, even though a lot of casual decks can still be high powered and have infinite combos, right?
Yeah.
So who's salty here, the players or this person because of what happened?
It seems like the other players are grumpy, and then this player just is kind of left with like a bad taste in their mouth. To me, the weird thing here is the 3 power levels: casual, intermediate, and competitive. If you can't be doing kind of broken casual shit in like whatever intermediate is, and clearly this deck can't hang at a cEDH table, like where does this deck fall, you know?
Yeah.
Probably a 7.
I think it's the player did disclose what their deck does, and it's really hard to compare their flyer with another flyer that has like, I don't know, 6+ dragons, right?
Yeah.
Which is already a strong board state. But like you said, I think it's more of the spacing of the event and where they put people rather than the player issues. But I don't think that was a great way for them to respond.
I think you alluded to the beginning, but it's like the infinite combo piece, because the Dragon was coming into fuck, right? Like 26 damage on turn 4. And they're like, all right, we got this under control. And then he just kind of infinites out. So it's like, I get how that's a little bit of a feel bad when you feel like you have the control. But the reverse of that is that, okay, well, then the next turn, the Dragon player is just going to kill everybody else. So it's like, it seems less scary because maybe it's easier to pick apart. But like the infinite combo was like, you know, too much for the rest of the table to like handle. But like Time Sieve combo isn't. It's like pretty easy to fuck up.
Well,
like,
not with Tivit.
Any interaction and you can stop it, right?
Not with Tivit, yeah.
Well, at least you can like stall it. You can do things like it doesn't have to happen like in that moment, right? Like there's things that could have been done. But I definitely agree with the sentiment of it's like, where else would these decks fit if not in the intermediate, if there's only 3 categories? I don't know.
And is it a Tymna Thrasios player? Is one of the other decks there?
Yeah, I want to know what that is. Who's playing Tymna Thrasios casually?
Yeah, like
besides Mod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then complaining that someone else brought some power. Like you've got as much power as an infinite combo in the command zone. Not like innately, but just about. Like you got an insane value engine right there. So
it is innately. Like if you have infinite mana, you just win, right? Like,
yeah.
Theoretically, maybe they're not running infinite mana, though. I would be maybe shocked. Not,
but
if that was the case.
I think most of the time when you see any of those partners, like a Thrasios, a Crom, a like Tymna, you're thinking cEDH. You're not thinking casual. I don't know a single person that literally, besides Mod, who would play a Thrasios casually. Like,
yeah, which he inspired me to do it too. So.
Yep. Got another one.
Got a live one.
It really does seem like like you said, Lua, like the boogeyman of the infinite combo. Like for some reason, people outside of cEDH would much rather lose to like a really pushed amount of creatures attacking you like way early, like 6 dragons on board by turn 4. I think we can agree that that's pretty fucking crazy.
I think they want it to end up being a 1v1. They don't want to lose to an infinite combo. They don't want to lose to like too many players being hit at once. They want to lose to player by player by player. I think on a lot of these in general is what I feel like.
Just like chipping down.
Yeah.
Maybe they should play 1v1 formats though.
Crazy concept.
Crazy concept.
What do we think about the salt rating here on this one?
What's the scale?
Oh, the scale is anything you want.
It's completely arbitrary.
Yeah, I figured it was.
You could have it be the percentage of their body that you think is salt.
Yeah, how many teaspoons of salt do you think this is?
That's like a 42 teaspoon.
Right on, right where it
average.
should be.
So perfect.
Average. Maybe they had some like cup of soups.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you go to the diner and you knock over the salt, but the whole cap comes off, and it's not the whole thing of salt, but it's like just enough to throw over your shoulder. That much.
A little superstitious.
A little superstitious.
A little bit of rice in that salt so it doesn't get all moisturized.
They didn't put the rice. That's why this is bad.
Yeah. Right. It's crystallized into chunks that you were not prepared for.
Yeah, you weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a bunch of people sitting down to eat, and 3 people were expecting a low sodium meal, and somebody dumped a bunch of extra soy sauce on it, and they were like, whoa, that's too salty for this type of meal.
The part that gets me is they should have been expecting a sodium meal, not the high sodium, not the low sodium. They signed up for the intermediate sodium amount. And then someone is out there like, you should really be at the high sodium table over there. It's like that really gets me, honestly, because it's like, if not here, where am I supposed to be?
Exactly.
I also think there's a misconception of what a cEDH deck is, right? So it just, that does not help.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a weird one because Tivit Time Civ is fucking crazy, right? Like we can all agree this is like a cracked cEDH deck and just a super powerful combo. But at the same time, if you do go through the effort of explaining this and being like, and I can tutor for it, so hey, look out now, this is what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
You would expect that when that does happen, like if I tell you something's going to happen and you're like, cool, and then it happens, you're like, whoa, that's whack now. It's like, no, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play it in casual because it's so good, but also like Tori, for example, like you have an infinite combo in Kalia that's like some dragons.
I'm an asshole with Kalia. Tell people off the bat though. I'm like, this deck is like a 7, but also like I don't know. It's like
depends on what you get.
There's an infinite combo that has to have like everything go right. Like I need to have a Hellkite. I need to have a Breath of Fury. I need to be able to enchant the Hellkite and have it live for another whole turn cycle before that combo can even happen.
Yeah, so I feel like with combos, like infinite combos and stuff like that, there has to be like kind of like a, not like a clause, but like something that makes it not pop off that hard. It pops off, but like maybe there's a third piece. Like 2-card combos, I think, is where it gets to be dicey.
Yeah, if it's like Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle in my casual deck, like, and I have 8 tutors to go find that one card, like, yeah, that's annoying. But it's like, like I said, I need 3 of these pieces to go right for this infinite combo to happen. 3 out of 100 cards with 1 tutor in the deck.
Right.
So like, it's probably not going to happen. I think that combo has happened for me once in the 3 years of me using that deck.
I think your point too, Lua, of like it has to not do something right away. Like sometimes time can be sort of like the secret third card of an infinite combo that makes it feel a little bit more fair. Like Time Sieve comes down that turn. If no one has an instant speed response, it's going. You're hitting the combo right there. But if something takes that full turn rotation, that kind of gives everybody that like extra chance, that sort of feels like it required a third card of no one else having interaction.
It's interesting though, because I do think that there are so many combos that can't really survive in cEDH. And then it's sort of like, well, can they go in casual then? Like my Gave Guru of the Spores deck. There's a bunch of like weird 2 and 3 card combos in there that are super powerful in a casual pod, but are like, you know, steaming farts in a fucking cEDH pod. Like it's not going to hang. So like, where does that go? And I guess it kind of goes back to where we were talking about with like these weird 3 power levels at this convention with like casual, intermediate, and competitive, which again, I don't think that those are good labels to have. because they don't really mean anything. But there has to be like something there in casual where like combos can be played, but like you're saying, Tori, they're like 3-card combos.
I think if anything, it should just be pre-con, casual, and then competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we talk about it. Like for us, the term casual just means not cEDH, you know? And when people are like, that's not a casual card, I'm like, well, it's not a cEDH card. So it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. I don't like that saying. People are like, that's not a casual card. I'm like, actually, they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the term casual is also contextual and also open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Like we played a casual game in between rounds at Apex the other night, and I was like, hey, somebody come play Kalia with us because I have extra decks and we need a 4. And the person who actually won the Apex Modern event was like, I'll play. And her name is Dawn. She was very, very awesome. Props to Dawn.
Shout out to Dawn.
Good job on winning the whole fucking event.
Good job, Dawn.
Amazing. So Dawn was like, yeah, I'll play the Kalia deck. That looks fun. I was like, okay. Like, I'm like, yeah, we're playing a casual game. I'm playing fucking like Neera. Like someone's playing like the Urza Precon, but just like tuned up. Mason was there playing like his deck. And she's just like, all right, I'm going to go tutor. I'm going to go play this like fucking big ass lifelink angel, hit us for 9 every single turn, gain 9. And then it was like, oh, I'm going to cast an Armageddon and blow up everyone's lands. And everyone's like, oh. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's in the deck. But like, I think it's fine. I'm like, it's funny. And the game wasn't over. Like, no one cried because like it still took an hour. But like, we had answers.
I would have cried.
Yeah, same. I definitely would have cried as well.
If you blow up my lands and you don't fucking kill me right after, I'm crying.
Yeah.
No.
What a day for Dawn, though. She got to resolve Armageddon and win a tournament.
And win the 5K, get the invite. Yeah.
Damn.
So I was like, wow, you're fucking awesome. And then she's like, yeah, I gotta go. My friend's gonna fill in and play the rest of this deck. I was like, awesome. Cool. And then she won the event. And I was like, you're fucking awesome because you beat me with my own deck and then went and won the event that I O2'd. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Like to me, if like when I play Commander with my friends and they're like, oh, does anyone care if I play this card? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The worst thing that happens is we all lose quickly and then we just play again.
Yeah.
That's a good mindset to have for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And if you don't like a card that much, like I feel like it is very reasonable to just tell people like, I don't like this card. It is an unfun play experience for me. Can you take it out and play something else? And I highly doubt someone will ever be like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have seen a few people be like, no. But, you know, it's not right. Don't
it's not. And I mean, but it's also like, I can't remember who was the person who said, I think it was Sheldon, who was like, play the way like you want to be invited back.
Yeah.
And that's like how I feel like that calls in. Like if you're gonna be like, I'm playing this card even though like everybody hates it and they've expressed this is not fun, and then you don't get invited back to Commander Night and everyone's like, you stink, go away. That's your own fault.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about trying to be a courteous opponent, you know, and I think that's like the biggest thing is like try to make sure everybody has fun. And sometimes fun is defined as like fucking your friends over and you're all salty and laughing and raging, and like that can be some people's
and
fun.
Don't have any lands.
Yeah. And you don't have lands and you're like, oh fuck, Dawn is crushing us.
When I first built that sliver deck that I have, I was like, hey guys, I built this cool sliver deck. I don't want to try it out, so I'm going to bring it over. Every time we went to go play Commander, I was always killed first. Immediately on site. I didn't even have like a sliver on the board yet. And everyone's like, I'll attack you for 5. And I'd be like, I didn't do anything. They're like, yeah, but like you're gonna. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, and like it sucks. Like I can understand where it's like annoying, but I also was like, I asked for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Minority Report?
Yeah.
Sliver players commit future crime.
Yeah.
They're like it hasn't been committed yet, and you have to stop them before it's going to.
Yeah.
I understand the concept.
You need to send Tom Cruise to do it too, right? Is that Minority Report, or am I completely?
No, it is. It is.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it is. That movie's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Well, should we hit another one?
Let's fucking hit another one. Let's do it. This is a Reddit DM, and this one comes to us from our buddy Savage Galaxy 101. And the post is titled Saltfessional, a little portmanteau of salt and confessional. And it goes, hello again, ye salty miners. I have something of a saltfession for you. This happened a couple weeks ago at one of my locals. I was playing with 2 of my friends and a random person I haven't played with before. The random person was playing Atraxa, the proliferate one, and claimed that there was one synergy card and Atraxa was just there for the colors, and that this was actually a group hug deck. It's like already so suspicious. One friend was playing Progenitus and the other was playing Braid's Arisen Nightmare. I was on mono green Worms, and this is a deck I somehow end up playing whenever games get weird. The game was pretty normal for the first half, in which the Atraxa player had only played ramp spells and one group hug spell, Tempt with Discovery. Everyone ends up taking the land as the Atraxa player was presenting no real threat despite so much mana. Progenitus and I had been pummeling the Braids player that was using dictate-like effects and making us sacrifice things and getting too much value. The salt comes when the Atraxa player drops Marilyn of the Morn Song, and for some reason waits until the next player's upkeep to then play Opposition Agent, which means no draws for anyone, and Atraxa gets all of the tutors from Marilyn. There were immediate groans from all the other players, and the Atraxa player starts to feign apologies to deflect any of our salt. Braids immediately scoops to go do some trading, while I am on the fence. I have the opportunity to just go as stompy as possible because I had lurking predators on my field. Progenitus is adamant to play to the end, so I do too. I end up getting salty as the Atraxa player doesn't grab anything that wins the game after a couple rounds, just grabbing a few value pieces and one-sided board wipes. They keep apologizing throughout this whole process and claiming the deck is just group hug. I am obviously the salty player here, immediately rebutting any apology with, "You put the cards in the deck, you played them together, own it, and finish this." To which they say they didn't expect to ever get this combo. I just sent back the same rebuttal in an increasingly agitated tone. Is it normal for people to apologize for cards they purposefully put together? Apologies for the length to this. Wanted to give any detail I thought may be relevant. Stay salty, Savage.
I can't tell you how many times my deck has done something crazy and I go, my deck has never done this.
Yeah.
So I get that to a degree, but the specific cards were a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the even vague insinuation that Opposition Agent could ever be a group hug card.
Should we read Marilyn? I'm not sure that everybody knows that.
Yeah, we should.
Marilyn of the Morn Song is a 2/3 legendary creature elf wizard. It costs 1 and 2 black, and it says players can't draw cards. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, and puts it into their hand, then shuffles their library. So instead of drawing for turn, you basically tutor for turn and lose 3 life. And we might as well read Opposition Agent, even though I think everybody knows what this card fucking does. Op Agent, it's a 3/2 human rogue. Costs 2 and a black. It has flash. It says you control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. While an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast them. So the combo here being that nobody can draw cards, and every turn you tutor their libraries and just take a card out and cast it on your turn.
If you get a tutor out of everybody's deck and you don't win by your turn, like, you gotta be better a little bit.
Yeah, right? Sure, maybe your deck is pure group hug, but like the other people have to have win cons in their decks, right?
I would hope.
Your deck isn't pure group hug if you have those 2 cards in it. As like a wombo combo in and of itself. But like, I think that is the problem. Like, sometimes I feel like people don't want to seem like the bad guy, so they purposefully don't grab the like powerful things, but it's like, no, you're making it worse. Just end it.
Yeah. Once you're already the bad guy, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get, again, like that sometimes the pieces come together in a way that you're not expecting. There's also been times where I've made decks and didn't realize I had combos in there. Like, I'm like, this is a cool card, this is a cool card. And then they come out and I'm like, oh shit, right? Like,
yeah.
So I get that. Sometimes when I'm building, I just pick cards that look cool. And sometimes I'm like Scryfall or EDH Rec, or I'll find like a random thing. I'm not even thinking about it. But this seemed very specific And at that point, as a player, I probably would have been embarrassed and like scooped at my own board.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, to be polite.
Like if it was too overpowering where people were like miserable, I'd be like, all right, let's just like shuffle up and I'll try something else.
Agreed.
And it's again like you gotta like identify how you can win. Like I sort of did a similar thing with my Rubinia deck that I built a while back, where it's like I thought it would be fun and janky, and then all of a sudden I have Willbreaker out and I've taken everybody's shit, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna give any of it back, and like I just win now, guys. Like we don't have to play it out. Like if you want me to, I will. I got a bunch of 2/2s, so like I can kill you with combat damage, but like this is the end, right? Like being able to identify it, own it, and be like, I'm sorry, I'm making you concede, but like this is just like where it's at. Instead of like, oh, let me just pretend like I don't know how to win with 3 decks at my disposal,
right,
on top of my own, and like I don't know.
For Savage Galaxy here, I feel like you gotta do a bit of evaluation at the point that this lock hits the board. Like, you know, you were talking about like I think I have a way of potentially winning if I just go for beats, right?
Yeah.
But at a certain point, the other player that went to go buy cards, like they did the evaluation of, am I going to have more fun, or is the fun of this game over for me at this point? You got to make that evaluation, because it's not worth it to just sit there and get more and more and more upset when you could just leave and go play another game.
Mm-hmm.
We did a game on Scrybabies where we played with Nat and Bobby, and I was playing Neera, and it was like Neera is basically like you can't trip a spell, it goes to the bottom of your deck, and then you flip one over and that one stays. So I had a Dockside out, which I don't really play Dockside in casual, but the Commander 1 is so expensive, and 2, it usually is a cantrip spell because it's 2 mana, it's something red, it's easy, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
And I flipped over a Displacer Kitten, which is intentionally supposed to be a winning card, but it was like that plus a Gale plus this, so it was making constant Docksides, and I literally was like, I cannot win here except being annoying, so we should just like stop the game and play something else. And it was for a recorded episode we did, and we just never used it because it was very stupid.
We just got so lost in the sauce.
It was very hard. Yeah.
There were so many triggers that we were just like,
Sam, our game that I can't talk about yet, that was we both had triggers that were, well, it'll be out on Scrybabies, I'm hoping eventually, but yeah, that was a lot of triggers between the two of us, and it was a lot to keep up with. So
That's true. And that's an episode you're recording for content. If an episode is being recorded for content can be put down because it gets too shit, then like a game you're theoretically playing purely for fun, you should also be able to put down at a certain point.
What do we think about the salt rating here?
It's like mid.
I think it's like fair.
Mm-hmm.
Fair salt. I think the thing that would make me the most salty out of all of that is the person being like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And like, you're not sorry. And it's like, kind of like you said, like, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like you got baited.
Yeah. I hate when a person is like very clearly winning, very clearly in the lead, and they're like, no, I'm not even doing anything, but not in like a funny way. Like, I'll do it in a way that's like, what are you looking at? Haha. But like, if somebody's literally just trying to like deflect off of themselves and be like, no, like I'm not doing that thing, that like to a degree, I feel like that's what that person was doing. They were like, this is group hug, isn't it? It was not. That was a lie.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
the thing that fucking makes me salty about this, is that they were like, it's a group hug deck. Maryland, okay, sure, group hug card, we're all tutoring, but then they played the opposition agent, and then they were like, whoops, sorry about that. It's like, well, just
don't play the card.
Yeah, just don't play it if you're going to apologize immediately after you cast it. Like, I get wanting to put that stuff in your deck sometimes because you're like, this is going to be interesting, it's going to fucking pop off in a weird way, and then it happens. Like, sometimes you play that deck and you're like, ooh, that sucks. Like, I built a Memnarch deck one time and played it with these guys, and I was like, it's not like one of those Memnarch decks. Like, it's going to be really chill. I'll just make a bunch of mana. And then, turn 7, I just had all the permanents on the board, and I was like, oh, I can see why this isn't fun.
Yeah, it is that deck. There's also a point, like, you can even put the cards in the deck and just not play it. Like, once you play that Marlin and you're looking at that opposition agent in your hand, unless you think playing it is really going to end the game because everyone will scoop, you can just not play it and wait and maybe do something else with your mana.
And the move of playing it in someone's upkeep just feels like especially sadistic, just to be like, haha, you thought that you were going to have like a fucking normal turn, but you're definitely not. I don't know. It just feels like they wanted to have the gotcha and then realized how uncomfortable it was after it happened and were trying to like backtrack it.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like I would have looked around the table and been like, does anybody have an answer? And if they don't, I'd be like, you should get this card from my deck because it means you win. And like, if they didn't take it, then I'd be like, all right, I scoop. Like, see ya. Like, I'm not going to just sit here for the rest of the night while you dirtle.
We haven't said it for a while, but don't play with your food. Like, if you can win the game, take the win.
Win the game.
I can't stand when people have to like can win the game and then they're just like, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody else.
It's like you're ruining it right now.
No, you're not. You're ruining it by just
existing,
toying with me like a mouse, the cat.
Prolonging my torment.
Yeah, just let's play another game. Like, please just end it. End the game.
Speaking of ending things, should we end this post and talk about the next one?
Sure, I guess so.
Yay.
Sure. All right, so this next story comes to us from, there's another one from Reddit. And this one comes to us from Shoddy Beat Sword. I didn't say this before, but I will now. If you guys see Shoddy Beat Swords around the subreddits, give them an upvote. You know the drill. Spread that. Goodwill. And the post is titled Salty Player at an LGS. And it goes. I was playing my new Neheb deck yesterday at a table with people I didn't know. All of them were really cool, except Mr. Salt. Turn 1 and 2, we all do little else other than play mana rocks, but Mr. Salt managed to skyrocket into the lead. Played his commander, activated the commander, making several 5/5 dragons, etc., ready to smack us hard going into turn 4. Is this the guy from that other post? Fucking bunch of dragons on turn 4?
What's going on?
The rest of us agreed, since he was going to make more dragons, that I should just blasphemous act now to avoid him running away with things. He spent the rest of the 25-minute game bitching about why we couldn't make a deal. He would never attack me with the dragons and how boring board wipes are. Bro, you're going to have 50 power on the table by the end of turn 4? Shut the fuck up. Is it normal for people to take things personally and get defensive about their board? If I have Soulfim or Fiery Emancipation out and I'm about to cast something big, I expect them to get removed.
People just like to hear themselves talk. That's all.
Sam wouldn't know anything about that. That's an entirely new concept.
I definitely didn't start a whole podcast to hear myself talk.
And Tony, you agree with this poster, right? Like board wipes have a time and a place.
No, I hate board wipes. I do never want board wipes to hit, but I do understand why they do. They make me sad. I'd rather somebody else just win rather than wipe my board. But
it's like a necessary thing.
That's not always possible. Yeah.
You need to have board wipes in a game that gets so ridiculous and crazy. You know,
you need to have at least one. I don't need 4.
Agreed.
You know,
and some of those decks that run 10, those are villains. Those are straight villains.
Instead of running the board wipes, I run the protect my board cards. I feel like that's usually what I do instead, because I just hate them. But that's just a personal preference.
Do you think there's somebody that has a deck that's just board wipe themed? It's 5-color board wipes.
With Child of Alara.
Yeah, Child of Alara, 100%.
Yeah.
That sounds like the worst thing ever.
I'm making it for Tori for Christmas.
I will literally stop playing Magic for the rest of my life.
You wouldn't play the deck if I made it for you for Christmas?
No.
It is the worst thing. I've played against that deck. It sucks.
I hate board wipes more than anything.
Samesies.
Tell me about that.
I don't mind a board wipe that's a board wipe with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Exile all attacking creatures from one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Because then it's you save yourself and then everyone's oh, we're getting fucking cracked. That stuff's kind of fun. But people who are I'm gonna overload a psychotic, we have to reset the game. I'm just I'm going home.
Yeah.
especially if it's it resets the game and it's gonna last.
Yeah.
My commander play clock is 70 minutes max before I want to start a new one.
Yeah, I feel that.
Unless it's really, really good, which you'll have some of those games that are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I trying to get as many games in as possible.
Yeah.
And I just when people board wipe and it's all right, from the top.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just me, but I feel the games that are really, really good, it's never because a board wipe happened and I'm now we're resetting and starting over. It's boards are just it's singular pieces of removal that keep things in check and it's interesting stuff is happening and that's just again what I like. So take all the board wipes out of your deck, Mike.
No.
Yeah. It's like no one ever leaves Commander Night being like, I cast this sick board wipe.
Yeah.
Everybody threw their hands in the air and was like, wow. Like, let's go. Like, everyone's always like, come on.
I think the best board wipes are the ones that actually make the game end sooner.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, Tori, like they've got a purpose. Like someone is then completely blown out and they get killed the next round and then the game like keeps moving or something. This is an interesting post because 3 people were really excited about the board wipe, right? Because it kept one player in check. So like I think one of the interesting parts about the Salt here is that it's about feeling like they were owed a political deal that they like didn't get a chance to make. They're like, oh, I could have just not attacked you if you didn't board wipe.
Yeah, but then at some point you're gonna win. So I don't believe those players.
But that's usually when I'm like, oh, so you're not gonna attack me with those dragons for the entire rest of the game? And they're like, well, I can't do that. And it's like, all right, then I'm gonna fucking board wipe, dude. Like the other weird thing here is that, like, honestly, I think this is just a story of somebody who had like the god hand and expected to play it out without any resistance. And then the first time one piece of resistance came up, they were like, fucking.
Did you say One Piece?
I was like, the One Piece?
Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. Every single time someone says One Piece in any other context that's not the property One Piece, it does do something weird to my brain.
Yeah, it's like the fucking urge you get. I was like talking to somebody today. I was like, I think it was Cal. Cal messaged me something about like One Piece, and I was like, isn't it great becoming like a Jehovah's Witness and like following our Lord Luffy, where every time someone says anything like, oh, I'll only have one piece of pizza, you're like, did you just say you want to sail the grand line?
The drums of liberation, I hear them.
Don't spoil it. We have a newbie.
What are we talking about?
Conqueror's hockey so good it's coming off the page.
I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were literally talking about like the gold rush and talked about prospectors. And I was like, what? Prospectors? What? Like that's a different word to me now.
Goldie Roger?
No, not that. Or if someone says salt, I'm like, huh? It just happens, you know. Must be how you guys feel whenever you hear someone scry. You're like,
we do. We have an alarm sound and we dab.
Hell yeah.
It is.
Scry.
It's real.
We do dab.
do you?
We do.
Yeah, we go scrying on Scrybabies. We air horn.
Yeah. It just kind of happened one day. We don't really know like why.
Do you do the mini dab at all?
What's the mini one? Like this? Oh.
No, I don't do that because I do sign language, and that is not what you think it is.
What does it say?
What is
Maybe
it?
I should never
What
do
does
that
it mean?
again.
That's lesbian.
Oh.
I mean,
Let's go,
Yeah,
lesbians!
fuck yeah.
it's like not bad. I don't regret all the
This is
times
lesbian?
I've mini dabbed now
Yeah.
because of
I
that.
laugh because Steve's got a picture in his mom's house that's framed of him like in high school, and he's like doing a gamer pose. It's like him in like a school backdrop, and he's going like this, and I'm like, nice. I know what that means.
What is a gamer pose story?
Like he's like you know like the
Saying lesbian in sign
like-
language, the typical gamer pose.
Just for everybody who's listening, it's basically when you cross your arms and you lean over, but it's like an L underneath your chin that is making the lesbians.
Give me the thumbnail.
Do you need the smirk as well, though?
Excuse me, ma'am. Your board wipe.
Lesbians.
I feel like we have to include a link to like an
Yeah.
image of it in the show notes.
We will. We 100% will.
Do a tweet that's like, new episode with no context, and it's like this.
Yeah.
Just picture a classic gamer pose. Like we all know what that means. Come on.
We circle back to the salt rating? Question mark.
We should.
Like, we've
Yeah,
gone
we
far
should.
enough away. We go
should.
back now.
That guy's super duper load salty.
Yeah.
Like at least 50 teaspoons.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
getting up
minimum
there.
of 50.
What's the Tori? What was the average amount of salt a human contains?
4%.
4%. Was it 0.4? 0.4. This person's definitely at
0.4?
0.4, like less than 1%.
I thought it was 4. Like 4%.
You think you're
Which I guess is a
4%
lot.
That's a lot, dude.
mineral?
It is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of salt.
That's so
That'd be
much
a lot of salt. I mean, some nights I'm probably 4%, but I guess in general, I average around 0.4.
That would mean I contain 8 pounds of salt. That is
tracks.
Everybody An adult human body contains about 250 grams of salt.
Not 8 pounds.
They're like double the body weight of salt, though.
Yeah. Oh, you most consume 1.5 teaspoons per day.
Well, I do a lot more than that. So I have high blood pressure.
And also, if somebody were to be that complainy, I would just kill them first.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
For sure.
to me, that's a double body weight of salt. I'm not interested.
Same here. I feel like this is like, sometimes you sit down with pods at an LGS and everybody is super cool and you love it. And sometimes you sit down and one person is just kind of a douchebag and you got to knock them out,
Yeah, I hate that.
And I would be smiling as they were salting off about that blasphemous act. Because frankly, sounds like it was the perfect move. And they also knew that it was the perfect move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you take my fucking line, Michael.
try every time.
He has one thing, Mike. So he has one thing.
Fucking contract, damn it. Damn, is it that fucking time of the week? Christ, get this
Ooh.
amateur out of here.
Ooh, Tony, I think it is that time of the week.
But what time is it?
It's the time of the week that comes every week.
Hell yeah.
It's the time of the week where we say, Mike,
Mike.
what's the salty card of the week?
The salty card of the week.
would let me cast my spells, my friend. You capsized and pongified my creatures again. And if you do not want me casting ruination, because I'll blow up your lands.
Is Veggie in the room with us?
They have a collab coming out soon. It's just a mixtape.
That was Jumper by Third Eye Blind, everybody, in case you're not familiar.
That was some good shit.
Copyright strike.
Yeah, that was Jumpsuit by Fourth Eye Blind.
Or Stomper by Third Eye Blue.
Wow, that took me straight back to childhood. Wow.
Yeah. You know what I do before these shows? I just listen to like classic songs on repeat and I'm like, salt, can I put a salt?
I didn't know that was a classic music.
Dude, are you kidding me? Third Eye Blind Jumper?
Yeah.
That's classic. That is classic shit.
Well, thanks, Sam, for that classic shit.
Thanks, Mike.
The salty card of the week this week is Warp World. It is 5 and 3 red for a sorcery. Each player shuffles all permanents he or she owns into his or her library, then reveals that many cards from the top of his or her library. Each player puts all artifacts, creatures, and land cards revealed this way onto the battlefield, then does the same for enchantment cards. Then puts all cards revealed this way that weren't put on the battlefield on the bottom of his or her library.
If you made me read this, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, I was gonna
I would be
say.
so pissed if you made me read this fucking card. That would make me saltier than the action itself.
It's so true. I'm a little bit upset that I made myself read it, honestly. In
Yeah.
retrospect.
And I know it's not number 69, huh?
Yeah.
It's not.
Gosh. So we're guessing what number this is, right?
Not quite yet. First,
Oh,
we
okay.
we do a
We'll discuss
temperature
it.
gauge of the room, which is
Okay.
Tori, would this card make you salty?
No.
Nothing? No elaboration?
I don't really get salty in Commander.
Mm.
It's just kind of like, you know.
I do know, actually. That was an incredibly descriptive sound about that, I feel like. Because, like, this is...
Hold on a minute. What?
You don't get salty?
No. Commander?
Oh, okay.
See, he has his arms crossed and he's just, you don't get salty. I'm like, in Commander. He's like, oh.
Well, also, I mean,
I get salty when Steve and I play because Steve attacks me every fucking turn.
Oh, yeah. I get mad if my boyfriend tries to beat me at Commander.
Yeah, Steve will attack me every single turn and always try to kill me first because he'll be like, well, she's got a sliver. And I'm like, Steve's like the one who's the closest to being a pro in this room. So he's just deflecting on me because I have a scary commander. And Steve will be like, yeah, let's kill the sliver player. By the way, I'm going to cast like 40 blue-white cards that control the whole game.
I mean, Steve's not wrong about the sliver thing.
It's
Though.
not a skill issue.
Oh, man. Steve Stillman, everybody.
I like just heard his feet and I looked and he's just like,
Making
know.
a gamer pose at you?
the only time I ever got called salty in a commander was when we played cEDH with Quest for the Giant Lord. That was the only time I ever actually got salty. Ever.
In a
Damn.
competitive setting, yet
Wow, interesting.
Because I got duped.
again. Oh.
How'd you get duped?
How did I get duped? Bro, you were there.
I don't remember.
She's salty
I
again. It's
had
happening right now.
enough mana.
Oh.
I had enough mana to win the game. And I had a Demonic Consultation and a Thassa's Oracle in hand. And it was, I think, John's turn. And he was like, I'm going to cast Food Chain to go for my win con. And I was like, I have no counter spell. Done. Pass priority. Lou was like, I have nothing. Done. Pass priority. Joe was like, I have no response. And I was like, okay, so we're going to lose because Food Chain combo is happening right now. And he did it wrong. So he didn't win the game.
Ooh.
And then I got to go to my turn and was like, holy shit, nobody has any responses. I'm going to Demonic Consultation naming Thassa's Oracle. And Joe is like, I'm going to counter your Demonic Consultation. And I was like, I'm going to actually fucking scream. Didn't counter his win con 2 seconds ago when you could have. If he did not fuck up his win con, we would be dead.
Wow.
So I thought you didn't have it. So I felt like I got the flag.
They play all the time, so he knew he was gonna fuck it up. Maybe.
Maybe.
What was the counter though?
I don't remember, but I was just like, oh my god, I just got bamboozled.
Yeah.
Could he actually counter it though? Because like, I guess I the only reason I say that is because I have a really bad habit of being like blue counter spell. And it never does what I want it to do, and I can never actually counter the things I'm trying to counter.
And Tony's a bad
So it's
Well,
player.
I
like-
didn't have any counters because if I had a counter, I was going to counter the Food Chain to win.
Well, no, I meant like maybe it couldn't counter a food chain.
Yeah, it could have
or
been like a
the-
mental misstep or something.
Yeah, like dispel.
I think it was a mental misstep. It was a counter spell that like you didn't need the mana for, and you didn't need I think you needed 1 blue. But again, it wasn't like specific to mine. It was like just stops an interaction.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was like you could have stopped his, but you didn't. So
Yeah.
we didn't know that this was going to get fucked up and not win. So it's like, I was like, oh, I'm clear on all fronts
For
to
sure.
just go and win. And then I didn't. And then I was just like, I'm going to actually win
Yeah.
because that was the only way I could win. So now I
Yeah.
just have to sit there.
Sounds like some bamboozlery for sure.
And that was the only time I ever got salty because I was like, I did it right. I did it right. And I gauged the room correctly. Like,
Chose my window.
Why'd you cast that blasphemous act?
Episode's great though. Go watch it.
episode is good. I just looked very upset.
Let's take it to the tape.
I was just like, now what do I do? I'm going to talk with Ragavan. Hooray.
That's the worst when you get salty while filming something or on stream because you're like, haha, I'll just continue to be entertaining, I guess. Like,
Yeah. I was like, uh-huh.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, nice move. That's pretty cool.
I truly feel like I'm in hell
Yeah.
playing for a demon right now.
I was in the underworld, so
Oh man.
there was a demon.
Well, I guess the moral of all that is that Warp World doesn't make you salty.
Yeah.
I make myself salty.
Well, Lua, how do you feel about a chaos card like Warp World?
I like the chaos. Again, I don't want to read it, so like, as long as you know what you're doing with it, I don't care.
Nice. Tony?
It's interesting because I didn't even think of that aspect of it. If somebody like didn't know exactly how to just say that easily to be like, all right, count the number of permanents you have, stick it in your deck, and then flip that many cards and put the other ones on the bottom, I would be like, what? Like, what's happening? Like, so I think in general, this doesn't really make me salty. I've definitely wanted to make decks around this exact concept. But I know that in general, people don't really like that. So that's sort of like held me back from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I should just fucking revisit that concept because it sounds fun right now for sure. So little salt from me on this.
1 teaspoon.
Fair enough. Tony? Or Sam?
Wow.
Meh.
Get wrecked, Sam.
You think I'm fucking Tony, dude?
You guys talked about how you were going to 69 earlier, so I do think you're fucking Tony.
Mike, we cut that
still
from the
there.
episode. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I typically don't like big chaos spells, but Warp World seems kind of okay. Like, I think I would be fine with this. I don't like fucking Scrambleverse. Like, that card fucking stinks on ice. But Warp World is kind of interesting. Like, I play, what is that? Like, something ingenious creativity.
Indomitable creativity.
Yeah. I played that
I like
spell.
ingenious creativity.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
That is better.
It's a cool custom card that I just run in my decks. I rule zero it in. And The more I play that effect, the more it's super interesting to me. And like, I love getting rid of a bunch of permanents and just flipping off the top of my deck and being like, oh, like what is going to come out? Because you just end up with these board states that are really random, but also like you can rip into some interesting shit. And it seems to me kind of fun to do that for the whole table, especially in a casual game. Like you're there for random, exciting shit to happen. And this seems pretty on brand with that. How about you, Mike? Mike.
Tori.
I like this card. I have like 6 of them because I drafted M10 a lot and thought that everything with a gold symbol in the rarity symbol was like really important to take.
Is that not how you draft? Real question.
It still is how I draft, but I don't think it's the right way to draft. So I like it. I like resolving it. It doesn't make me salty. The only thing that I think is funny is you shuffle all your permanents, but you don't get to dump out any planeswalkers. So it's like there's this weirdness of it where it seems like you don't need to read all the text, but then sort of you do need to read all the text. And also that you specifically do all of the creatures, lands, and artifacts first, and then do the enchantments second is hilarious to me.
How does this work with tokens? Does this
it destroys all tokens? Yeah, it hits all permanents.
Okay, so they do count towards it.
Yeah, they do.
That seems kind of awesome, man.
You shuffle them in and they disappear when they hit the library. It's a great card. So round 2 of this game is, where do you think this lands in the top 100 cards of the EDH Rec top 100 salty cards?
Tony and I should go first because we like to be courteous to our guests, because you will probably win if you go last. I'm going to say
86.
Fuck you. I was going to say 87.
Well, get wrecked. Now pick a direction.
I'm saying 87 now.
All right.
I'm saying 87.
Okay.
I was going to say 74, but now that you're saying that, what do you say, 86, 87?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, 89.
For what it's worth, we're not good at this.
I know. I saw Sam get one last time, I think it was. And I was shocked. Tori, pick a number.
92.
92.
Close spread on this one.
Yeah, really close spread on this.
86, 87, 89, and
92.
Tony, you've finally broken your streak. This is 59.
Oh, well, that means I still win.
then Tony won.
That's what I'm saying. He won. He broke.
I won
he
the
broke his
past like
streak
3 or
of
4.
Nah,
bro.
you lose
He's
all
been
of them.
winning, man. He's been winning.
I've been winning.
Nah, you lose all of them. Well, you won another one. Congrats, Tony.
Oh no,
Good job.
I think Ken won one. Ken did win.
Oh,
Ken was our
did
first
win.
guest
Ken
to
was
win.
the first guest who win.
So
Yeah.
That's
sorry
cool.
you
That's
did
so
it.
cool for Ken. I'm not even jealous.
Well, that wraps it up for the salty card of the week. Thanks for playing.
Thanks, Mike. That was a lovely salty card. And thank you, Lua and Tori, for hanging out with us in the salt mine today.
Thank you for having us.
Where can we find Scrybabies stuff? Like, if people want more of that Lua and Tori content, where should they go?
We have a YouTube channel called Scrybabies. You can go search it on YouTube, and we put out videos every week now because we have a second channel called Scrybaby 60.
Whoa.
Where we're playing more just comp magic, more constructed formats. You can go to scrybabysmtg.com to find all the ways to not only support us, but to find our channels, because there's 2 now. And I keep saying that because some people don't realize there's 2. So go check out our second channel. And we will be at MagicCon Vegas. I don't know what's coming out. And we're also going to be doing New York Comic Con. And we're going to be doing a lot of events. So we'll be posting about those as well on social media, where you can come meet us and say hi in person. And yeah.
Sick.
Am I missing anything? I think that's most of it.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. What a way to end it, you know?
Sweet. Well, thanks again for jumping in with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And if you want more Howling Salt Mine content out there, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Howling Salt Mine. We have our monthly extra salt series you can check out. We also have our Stray Grain series, which is our short form content. It's all the tangents that get left on the cutting room floor and don't make it into our final episodes. You can listen to them there. We have a thriving Discord community with our deck list forum. We have monthly game nights with the patrons that we're doing. It's a great time. Come check it out. If you want to get some Howling Salt Mine merchandise, we have t-shirts on our Bonfire store. We also have branded Dragon Shield sleeves you can get off of our website, thehowlingsaltmine.com or howlingsaltmine.com. We're inconsistent with the use of and our social medias and shit, so why not do that with our website too? If you have a salty story that you want featured on a future episode of The Howling Salt Mine, submit it to us on our website or email it to us at our Gmail, which is thehowlingsaltman@gmail.com. As always, we ask you to keep that short, sweet, and to the salt. I don't think that's true because I haven't said that in like months, but still do that because it is good practice.
Shouldn't it be short and salty instead of short and sweet?
See, this is like a big...
Someone said this. Some undisclosed member of the podcast said this maybe 65 episodes ago and was quickly swept under the rug. So
it wasn't
incredibly validating to get someone else to say that right
now. Cut this.
Go Birds.
Cut her mic. Cut her mic. Another way you can help out the podcast is to give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app of choice. It really is something that helps small creators like us. And lastly, we got to shout him out every single episode. Our amazing podcast artist, JD Burnett, for giving us our beautiful podcast art. If you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina, hit him up and get a tattoo. He's a really awesome dude.
10,000 subscribers are bust.
Well, thanks again to you, Scrychildren, for coming into our minecart with us.
I yearn for the mines.
I love it.
The Scrychildren yearn for the mines. And as always, stay salty and don't forget to draw an additional card during your draw step.
It's the Howling Salt Line. The Howling Salt Line.
Let me turn off my game before Sam yells at me.
Are you fucking gaming right now?
Oh, you playing Baldur's Gate?
We're not going to interview you, Lua. We're going to interview Tori.
You can play Baldur's Gate while we interview you, Tori.
No, you cannot.
Did you guys do number 69 yet?
No.
All right.
We're talking about this a lot today because we were like, are we going to record episode 69 tonight after this? And we decided that we're going to push it. So a couple more weeks, and then it's going to go 68, 70, and then 69 because Tony's going to be away.
I'm disappointed.
But just you wait. It'll be great. Yeah, Tony's going to fly out and we're actually going to 69 on mic, which is crazy. So. And I don't mean on the microphone. I mean, Mike's going to lay down and we're going to be on him.
The old 169. This is awful.
This is great.
Can we talk
It's been like this for an hour, Tori.
I'm sorry. I had to leave my apartment so my landlord could show it to other people, and then I got stuck in traffic, and then I couldn't find a parking spot, and then I got a ticket. So
you got a ticket too?
Loving my life.
Oh yeah, my
so
God.
I'm just having a really good time.
Well, nice. Great.
Well, would it make you feel better to know that Kermit did 9/11?
No.